Hey. All right, guys, welcome back. This is part two. If you didn't see part one, you'll need to catch up there first and then bounce back over. There is a free link in the description box where you can watch part one, and then you can come back on over here so you won't be lost in the story because we're jumping right in. I'm going to do a follow-up to that message from the universe. We see the change. Universe, what have you, like, what's your advice to her at this moment? Four of Cups. It's all right that she is letting go of illusions. That's great. She is cleaning the slate so that she doesn't have any preconceived notions. She's not holding on to things from her past. The universe is like, that's exactly what we want. Break through any illusions. But there really is nothing to be sad about or lament or feel like you've missed opportunities. You're getting different opportunities, new opportunities. This divine feminine has no idea what is about to bust on into her world. Okay, let me go ahead and change decks again now, and let's go over here and say, so how is this going to be like playing out for her? What is she going to be spending her time doing? We see her just kind of like working toward her own, like keeping one foot going in front of the other. Let me just get a card or two for where she's at over these next couple days. We have a King of Wands. I think she's oblivious over the next couple of days. I think she has, oh my gosh, seriously, she has no idea. She may not be looking in the mirror very much. She may just be keeping on. She could be very preoccupied. We have the Strength card sideways. We have the High Priestess sideways. We have the Two of Pentacles sideways. We have the Four of Wands sideways. We have the Seven of Pentacles, and we have the Six of Pentacles. And everything came out in a sideways fashion, all in a clump, other than that one 10 of Wands. Okay, so what we can say with pretty strong conviction here is she is pretty oblivious because she is not pausing to take stock of anything. She is so focused on, I have no idea what comes next. All I'm going to do is keep working on like cleaning my house right now. I think she's going to be very, very busy over the next couple days. Maybe this entire week, she's going to be scrub-a-bubbing, her entire house. She might not be, too concerned about, like I say, when we're busy house cleaning and stuff, or just physically working hard. We don't care what we look like. We're not busy primping in the mirrors. We're just focused on, I almost think she's going to be nesting. And I think that we can say that more powerfully because of that card right there. Literally, she is nesting without knowing it. She's preparing for somebody to show up in her life, but her intuition is all kinds of, think of like, if you've ever had like a headset or something, earbuds, and they're starting to short out and it crackles in your ear and sometimes only one works. I feel like that's about where she's at with her intuition. She would normally be very attuned to things, but she believed something was going to happen for such a long time that it never did. And this is her completely giving up on it, right? For a long time, I think she thought or held space for a potential romantic partner to come into her life. I'm looking for the cards from part one. I might have already shuffled those back in. Oh no, they're right here. She's letting go of the idea of a soulmate coming back. She's letting go of illusions, things that she held space for that never materialized. She's aware that, people choose whatever path they're going to take. And it's kind of like she's saying, and people didn't choose me. I've closed out chapters. Nobody's coming to save me. Nobody's showing up in my world. My next chapter, I don't know what it is. I only know it's just kind of just me knowing that it's a clean slate and not seeing what's coming in, but I'm just trying to be positive about it. Just kind of trying to keep working toward, whatever my next days are going to hold. I don't know that she's ever been so like murky on what her future looks like, but now we can understand why. It's because her intuition, she either is like, I don't trust it anymore, because so many things I thought might happen didn't happen. And even if she has this burning thought in her mind of this divine masculine, she still is like, yeah, in a pig's eye. In a pig's eye. That's not happening. So she's just focusing her energies elsewhere, right? We see her just trying to be really strong, even though what her strength is right now is to kind of quiet her intuition. You notice even here with the strength card, we have, somebody coming down and like, you know, harnessing the power of the crown chakra here. She's like, I don't think, and maybe it's because she believed something like this was going to happen all the way back a couple of years ago, back when we were in Year of the Tiger. Right now we're still finishing up Year of the Dragon. We have Year of the Dragon represented here, but we're shifting into Year of the Snake on the 29th, and here's Year of the Snake. We have, and before that we had Year of the Tiger. I'm wondering if this is why she's like, I think that my intuition is pretty effed up, so I don't really think I hear it properly. And even if she does, she's like, nah, I don't really. But I know that I don't know what's coming. She's kind of surrendered some of her intuition, is what it feels like, because there's no evidence. It hasn't been evidence for such a long time of the things that she felt showing up in her world. She might have also gotten really mixed up and said, I can't tell, I can't feel it. By the way, Capricorn energy is all over this too, with this right now is very timely, right? With that Two of Pentacles, and we can see Capricorn there. She's like weighing it, and I just don't even know anymore. Four of Wands, yeah, right. Like I'm gonna have that in my life. Maybe someday, maybe I'll. It's weird because she can feel like there is this loving energy on the outskirts of her, like right outside her window, and she's like, yeah, no, I don't. It doesn't matter if I feel it. I know that I can't trust that. Nothing's ever come true that I've thought. Not in regards to romance anyway. She's at a point where so much time has passed and she's really weaning herself off of any kind of assumption that she knows how things are going to go. But subconsciously, she's still taking physical action to continue to be really powerful, continue to put down tangible roots. She is nesting right now. She is almost preparing for somebody to arrive in her life, even though she doesn't know that's what she's doing. All this focus on just her day-to-day, her work, her housekeeping, her all of those things are actually her intuition at work here, but she doesn't recognize it and she's kind of squashing it. I feel like this is a person who's pushing away whatever subconscious thoughts pop into their head that would be their connection to their intuition. I feel like she's really off kilter. Normally in the past, maybe she thought she could kind of sense stuff, and now she's like, I know that I can't trust my senses. Queen of Swords, so I want to be all logic. The only thing I count on is the pennies in the bank, the money that I hold in my hand, the tangible things. It's all about logic. I'm done with this whole high priestess stuff. I don't want to even be a high priestess. All it is murky nonsense. I think she's really clinical. She's shifting into really, really clinical mindset because intuition has not yielded results when maybe at different points in time she felt really strongly that certain things were going to happen, and then when they didn't and just more and more time passed, I can see why she would be like over it. Like, I'm not buying into fantasy land. I'm not doing it. I only want truth. I only want stuff that is, hard and fast. She may be starting to get interested right around the same time in learning something clinical, learning something like even kind of dry, boring. She may be shifting. If she was ever artistic, she might be saying, I'm going to do less artistic and look more for facts. Because I do kind of think she's been let down by intuition. She's a little fed up with that, which is crazy because, everybody has intuition no matter what, We're animals, we're instinctual. You can't fight natural instinct. It's a part of all of us. I mean, the same way, little baby kittens, when they're born, their eyes aren't open, but they can smell mama. They know how to move toward the sound of mama. There's an instinct that draws them toward a food source. There's lots of those things that are hardwired in us. So she's trying to basically say, no, no. I'm not going to be a high priestess anymore. I'm not looking in the mirror. I'm not going to see my future. I'm not going to do scrying. I'm not going to do anything murky. It all has to be factual, actual. That's it. And I'm going to start leaning toward and investigating things that are completely like things that I can quantify, things that you can tally up in a column and the numbers turn out right. Which is interesting because even here, what she's being driven to look at is being driven by her guides. You know, everything that she's interested in right now, the things that she wants to pursue, she may not know it, but that is still her instinct driving her. So kind of a powerful message there. We've got that 7 of Cups in a world full of so many opportunities and options and things that she could seek and knowledge and wisdom that she could be drawn toward. What she's going to be, she could be reading a book that maybe it's going to be a self-help book, maybe it's going to be a cookbook, maybe it's going to be something that for some reason one thing stands out above all others about what she thinks is a wise area of life to start looking into. How is it going to factor in? Because her guides are still pushing her that way. As much as she says, I'm not listening to some stupid intuition, no way. It's something that is going to awaken her creative spark again. As much as she tries to veer away from and has given up on and is even suspicious of intuition and what drives us to be passionate about things, there is something that she's going to get really jazzed about still right now in the very end of this year. We're still in Year of the Dragon for 8 days. We have that dragon right there. Something that she's going to be veering toward is going to be really exciting for her, something she really cares to do that she's going to fill her time with. She's looking for her next passion anyway, because we already saw her as somebody who's like, I don't know what comes next. I'm walking into the unknown. Something about my life, I have no idea what comes next. She's seeking direction, but saying, I'm not going to use my intuition anymore because it doesn't work. It's broken. I'm only going to listen to clinical, things that drive me. But it's funny because her intuition is still driving her toward these things that she's then going to become very excited about. What is this? This is passion. This is a creative spark, possibly. It's going to be something that takes her mind off of the unknowing of where she's going, and she's just going to be going, right? This is going to take her mind off of because she had some fears. We saw that at the end of part 1. She's got some fears about, I have no clue what comes next, and I can't trust my intuition anymore. So it's a little scary. It feels like I don't know what I'm going to find now because I don't have an inner compass that works. I don't think that's ever been true. I think her deciding her inner compass doesn't work is incorrect. It's guiding her all the time. I think maybe she forgot that divine timing is at play in life, and that no matter what we think we know, we don't know when it's going to happen exactly, unless we can directly make something happen and say, oh, I'm going to set the clock, and at 2:00, I'm going to go do X, Y, or Z. But she's been able to pick up on kind of like energy flows of what, she imagined her life would look like, but then it didn't come to pass in a specific time frame. So now she imagines it's not happening. And now she's kind of like, I don't believe in intuition, but her intuition guides her all the time. And instead of her focusing on this negative spin, anti-intuition moment, I think she is just going to, ironically, be driven even further by her intuition. That's going to get her mindset shifted onto something that's actually really going to help her progress forward. She's going to be moving forward and into much calmer, much happier energies. King of Pentacles. She may be driven towards something that could be work related, or she may be driven toward the calmer energies. And I keep feeling like she's putting work into something. She's going to get distracted by a task. She's going to get distracted by learning something. I'm picturing somebody right now who's like, I was just cleaning my house, but now, I've been thinking about doing some remodeling, or I've been thinking about, doing some furniture repair or something like that. And I'm going to go, and maybe it's artistic as well as, something clinical, something physical that I can do, something that, requires a certain skill set and a certain, whatever grit of sandpaper. If I'm going to, sand off some old paint off of a piece of furniture, and then I'm going to stain it a different color, and I'm going to do these things. And it's going to lead me down the road of creativity, and it's going to fill my mind with things. I'm going to be actively doing something tangible, something I can rely on, something that is, it doesn't require my intuition to do this. It's all factual and I can quantify it and I know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And I'm talking to people that have knowledge and skills, and they're helping me figure out what wood stain to use, and what grit sandpaper and all that. I'm just saying, it feels like she needed to do something that she could count on, and it's giving her peace. And it's not even just making time pass. It that she could turn around and turn this into money or a side hobby, or she could fall into a new career path, or meet somebody who would like her to be in some new career path. Because we said she was at like a blank spot in her life, not really knowing what comes next. And I almost think that her frustration with the murky world and her turning of her attention just to tangible things is actually driving her down the correct roads that will open up other doors for her. This keeps feeling like money or physical activity that really adds up and makes sense. She could wind up like shockingly stumbling into some, career path or side hustle or something that makes great money. And it could be a huge wish fulfillment. This could be the happiest chapter of her life she'll ever have. Now, let's go back to the topic of love, even though she does not see this coming in for her, but we saw that all over in part one. That was primarily what part one ended up being about. Let me just ask, we should change decks again. All right, universe, what do you want her to know about this love story that is coming at her? There's nothing for her to do. It's the person who's taking the leap toward her, and we already saw that fool back in part one. We saw a King of Swords coming toward her. It's happening, and it's got nothing to do with any action she needs to take. In fact, it's better if she doesn't know. It's better if she's just over here doing her own thing. It's coming right at her. We got the 8 of Wands. Oh my God. You gotta be kidding me. The love story is driven by him. She does not know it. She could not see it. It was not her place to take this action. This is the thing that I think threw off her intuition, because she felt this coming for so long and then she gave up on it. And it's like she was supposed to, because they're the ones who have to take the action. Their problems and delays were on their side. We have the Star card again. There's so much wish fulfillment here. We're ending with a double star. She is their wish fulfillment. Her own happiness in her life and having a happier chapter of her life is what's coming, but she does not even realize that there is a love story about to unfold for her. By the way, she could be an Aquarius, or she could suddenly have this surge of positivity in her life, everything from being somebody who's extremely loved by this partner, but also possibly becoming quite a star in some career path, when at the beginning of this storyline, she didn't know what was coming next. She felt like the bottom was dropping out of her world, and she had no idea of what was going to come next. And it turns out, I said before, maybe it's because little by little, the universe has been getting her to let go of certain things so that she can move into the next chapter. What I didn't know is she's like moving into, stardom. She's been slowly but surely, the universe has been peeling stuff away from her so she's not encumbered, so she can rise like she's supposed to. I feel like she could become famous and she could end up in a very happy love story, and it's all coming together at the same time after her feeling like everything in my life seems to have disappeared. What comes next? And it's like, comes next is you're gonna rocket to the stars. That's pretty amazing. All right, I'm gonna leave that there. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up.